Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Sensor 360 Investor channel, where we use best practices from around the world, from the companies that we invest in, and apply those to the investing process. In today's video, within our 360 framework, we're going to concentrate on the trader segment. And the particular topic we're going to look at is short selling stocks. Before we begin, just a quick reminder, this is not providing financial advice, and please pause, read through this, and then continue. Okay, so without much further ado, let's go on with the show. And so I'm going to walk us through several stocks which are short sell candidates, and so we'll take a look at those and look at potential opportunities. Some of these are in the process of setting up. Some are a little bit closer to points where you may want to consider short selling, but and even if you are not a short seller, but you have an interest in learning this over time, you may want to watch these stocks and see how they unfold in the months ahead. So the first one up is Okta, which was a former winner, and we can see Okta's been in a downtrend for a while. It gave a nice little opportunity to short around the 110 zone, and now it looks like it's setting up again around the 68 to 70 area. So if this breaks below that low of the week's bar, these are weekly bar charts, price charts. If it breaks the low of last week's low on the price bar, then you might want to take a look at this, or at least watch it to see what it does. The next one up is Meta, formerly known as Facebook. So this one has been in a prolonged downtrend from its highs as well. It was up in the 400 zone, now it's at trading at 120, and it's just been kind of fairly well, in its downtrend, and with a couple of wider volatility bars in there to the downside. But it's now kind of in a place where it's looking like it's trying to consolidate around that 120 zone. But if it breaks below that little pattern around there, again, that could trigger a buying opportunity in terms of short selling it. Then next up is DocuSign. So DocuSign had that massive earnings miss a while back at the end of 2021, and has never recovered since then. It's just been consistently being sold off. It's coming into an area where if it consolidates and breaks below that 55-ish zone, then this may set up as a short sell candidate. Then we have Block, which was Square. And so this one has been in a fairly well orderly downtrend as well. This one's actually given several short sell pivots. First of those was around that 130 mark, and the second of those was around the 90 mark, and now it's offering a third one around the 60, 62 zone. So a break below that consolidation where it's been sitting for the past 5-6 weeks could trigger a short sell. Next up is Mongo databases, and this one has an orderly downtrend in motion. It's popped up from recent lows, hitting kind of a resistance area and trying to consolidate at that level. A break below the last couple of weeks price bars could be an entry in the stock, and all of these are always on some volume coming in, just as we look at on breakouts to the upside. The 5 networks, this has been a fairly orderly decline. Primary opportunity for the short sell was around that 110 zone. It's now setting up again. Most of these stocks have a fairly similar pattern in them, to just reflect what the current market's doing currently. They're kind of off their lows and hitting resistance zones. And if they then break down from there, that's your opportunity to think about the short sell opportunities. Zillow Group. So this one was all the rage, and for a while it's been steadily selling off since the beginning of 21, and we can see fairly orderly decline except for late in 21, where that's probably an earnings break to the downside in terms of a miss, and it's just the stock's just been sold off fairly consistently. It's down at 32. It was short, it could have been faded back at the 200 zone, but 32 is still offering up potential short, and this one may have already triggered. You have to see, but it's still close enough to the pivot where you could think about a short sell and have a fairly tight stop on the upside to cover in case it reverses on you. And then we have Docs. So Docs is a fairly recent issue, and this one has been offering a fairly well organized downtrend pattern. It's given a couple of opportunities prior to the current one. One was around 60, the next one was that mid 40s mark, and now we're down at the low 30s, and it looks like it wants to potentially break to the downside. Doesn't mean much volume activity, but that to the short side may work in your favor, because any pickup and break down in price action from where it's at could trigger a nice little $10 move. Guidewire. So this was a former winning stock to the upside, and it's in a fairly well established downtrend pattern after a failed double top. So we can see it kind of just orderly swings up a couple of times up to resistance, where it's now sitting at the mid 60s zone. So a break below the last couple of weeks bars could offer up an opportunity there. And then Splunk, which is also was a hot issue, hot IPO when it first came out in the tech space for audit and logging network activity. Pretty good product used on a lot of data centers. So this one's fair. It also had an orderly downtrend, and we can see it's kind of just daisy chaining down to the downside. And so currently in that mid 80s zone, a break below the prior week's lows, and certainly the current week's lows could offer up an opportunity to short sell this candidate. Okay, so that's 10 ideas on short selling, and we just kind of looked at the basic patterns, areas where they offered up short sell pivots on prior earlier in the downtrends, or where they're selling up now. And so even if you're not a short seller and you want to learn, so the best way to learn is take a look at some of these stocks and watch them, see what happens, where they are in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months out from now, and see how they performed and whether they were good selections or not within this market. So since the market is still in a downtrend, the expectation is some of these former darlings are gonna have weakness, and so there should be some traction to the downside. And as in all types of trading, well, one should always trade with stop losses in place. So as soon as, if you ever enter a position either to the long side or to the short side, the next step that you must take on after you've been filled on your order is to set a stop, either a stop to cover the loss to in the event that on a breakout moves to the downside, or a stop to cover if you do a short sell and the stock starts to move up to the upside. So that completes the video for today. Hope you found this useful. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and then share with your family and friends. If you're inclined to leave a comment, I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.